Today we have one of the world's most foremost leadership experts. He is ranked as one of the world's top 30 leadership gurus, and he has written 14 books and 4 bestsellers. And welcome to the Night of Transformation. We are talking about John Baldoni, okay? Leadership guru extraordinaire. And he is with us right now today, and we got one really big question to start him with, and that is, well, John, what would you say would be an uncommon belief about leadership that you have?
I'd say, Arthur, thanks for inviting me. Leadership is the salient edge between success and failure. If there is no leadership, an organization will remain in stasis, and it's not going anywhere. And leaders are those that pull others along with them, pull them to the front, and push from behind to make good things happen.
Wow, okay. So when you're saying push from behind, so give me a few strategies. I mean, if you're in an organization right now and you're leading a team of people and you want to really get these people going and push them from behind, I mean, what would be like one of the main strategies that you would do?
Well, I think the first thing is to understand purpose. What does our organization stand for? And from purpose comes our vision. Vision, in my mind, is a sense of becoming. What do we want to achieve? And as such, it's an ongoing process. Mission is our doing, which becomes our building, what we actually do. And values, which come from both, are what our sense of belonging. What holds us together. So together, purpose is, why are we doing what we're doing? That becomes our vision, mission, and values. So leaders have to communicate and still live those 3 principles so that people know what they've signed up for and how they can fulfill it. I think organizations get in trouble, Arthur, when they don't realize what is it we're really doing. You and I are in a lot of different organizations, and sometimes you see really good people and you'll talk to them and you'll have a conversation and you'll ask them about their job and they give you a good, clear, coherent description of what's going on, but they really don't know how their job ties into the whole organization, how it contributes. That's not their failure. That's a failure of management, a failure to communicate purpose, a failure to bring people together around a common cause. That's where I start. It's with purpose.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, this is one of the key things where, I mean, the people, they don't know where they fit. And that is such a huge thing, because, I mean, it's, I guess, I mean, it's kind of like, how valuable do you feel in an organization? And if you don't, yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. That's really a good point, Arthur. I like the way you use feel, because so much of leadership is that personal connection, in a sense. I mean, a leader's not hired to be your buddy. He's not hired to be your best friend, but he or she must make that connection. And sometimes that's on an emotional level, but it's always on a level of a sense of equality, that we're in this together, and that I have faith in you, Arthur, that you can do this job. And it's my job, Arthur, to prepare you to be able to succeed. That's how you forge that connection, which in turn fuels the purpose to what it is we do.
Excellent. Okay, so that's foundational for the individual. Now, how would you basically take that across a group? Because, I mean, different individuals are going to have different purposes per se, and it may not exactly match the organization. So how do you take all of these different people with different motivations and different interests, and for that matter, even different egos, and kind of get them all together going into, one, at least with one primary objective, and feeling like they're all part of the organization and have that value?
Well, I think that's what comes down to purpose. If you believe in the cause, if you believe in what we're doing, and if you believe that what you do makes a difference, you are going to become involved. Organization, I mean, bosses can compel people to do things, but you get B results. When you motivate people, and motivate, as you well know, is intrinsic, then they'll walk through walls for you. And so that's coming, it comes back to the purpose. I understand what I do, but more importantly, I understand that what I'm doing in the enterprise makes a positive difference, whether I'm in accounting or logistics or sales or HR. Everything I do contributes to the whole. And how do I know that? Because my manager and my executive team and maybe my CEO remind me of that on a regular basis. And furthermore, they remind me that I am valuable to them. You know, the best leaders are those that put them, I believe in the school of servant leadership, where we're there to serve the needs of the organization. We're there to serve the needs of individuals, to help them achieve our vision, mission, and hold together with our values.
All right, brilliant. So now, all right, so by getting the management, all the way across the board to basically remind people of, of their value. Okay, so that would be one of the primary strategies. But, are there more strategies to, help people to really get connected to the purpose?
I think it's a relentless practice of communication. And it's also reinforced by example. So it's not that you think of purpose every day per se. It's that your actions reinforce the values. And the mission is we see people pulling together toward doing the work. And our overarching theme is to become something better than we are as an organization. So all of that stuff works together. It's not magical, but from a leadership standpoint, you need to stay engaged in it. You need to make sure people understand it and are working together.
All right. Okay. Now, when you're as a leader, and you're trying to get people together and you're trying to kind of get them to feel, as part of this thing. I mean, sometimes as a leader, I'm sure that, you sometimes just get a little bit frustrated when, there might be some barriers to that. And also where, it's just like, you're working with some people and for some reason they just don't seem to kind of connect. What would you do, or, what would you have to say about that as a, for the leaders that are maybe feeling that frustration?
That's a good question, Arthur, and it happens only every day in every organization. So I have a little mantra. It's very simple to remember, but it might help. And leaders do three things: the be seen, be heard, be there. So be seen means be visible, be available. And then, in our days of, where people work globally, how can a leader be seen? Well, personal visits when possible, do it video, via email, stay connected, stay accessible. But be seen also means this kind of accessibility. Be heard means state the message of what the message of the day. What are we trying to achieve? What are our goals and objectives? But also listen to what you hear as well as what you don't hear. And when you're not hearing people engaged, when you're noticing things slipping, that's when you take a more activist role, get more involved. And then the final thing is be there. And that's something of a metaphorical thing. Be there means do whatever the organization needs you to do. So for example, if the team has to work on Saturday, you're there on Saturday. If there's a special event, maybe recognize an employee, you are there. If an employee needs specialized training, whatever, you help provide it for them. You advocate for them. You are their champion. That's what it means to be there. At the same time, if you're doing all of these things, Arthur, and things aren't working out, you may have a mismatch in talent and skills. And so individual people who are holding back the organization, they may not be in the right role. So the challenge is to find them the right roles where they can put their best foot forward.
All right. Okay. So, John, you have a new book out, right?
It's coming in spring of 2019. Yes.
Spring of 2019. And you want to give us a sneak preview about, some of the elements of the book and what it's about?
I would be excited about it. The book is called Grace, a Leader's Guide to a Better Us. And it focuses on the role of grace in a secular sense, what it means to get involved for the greater good. I look around our culture, and sometimes we can be dissuaded by some of the negative things that are going on. But there's an awful lot of good stuff that people do on a regular basis. And this book is a celebration of that. And I've turned grace into an acronym, which is generosity, respect, action, compassion, and energy. Because the action and the energy are, as you well know, leaders must do. And if they're going to do, they must have the energy. The generosity, respect, and compassion are the parts of grace that aim us to do the greater good, to be more collegial in the workplace, to demonstrate intentional acts of kindness, to help others in need, to focus on things other than ourselves, focus on the whole by helping individuals succeed. That's the genesis. That's the theme of the book, Arthur.
Wow, that's brilliant. I love the acronym. That is fantastic.
Thank you.
So, in closing, okay, if there was something that you could say, if there was one thing that you could give leaders in an organization that are trying to manage some kind of change, and maybe they're hitting some walls, but what would be that one piece of advice to help people really, just create something great within their organization?
I'd say focus on your inner strengths. Notably, you probably can do more than you think you can do. That doesn't mean you work harder, but take time to reflect on the situation, what your strengths are, and how you can apply those strengths to help others succeed. At the same time, if you're deficient in areas, find people you can promote to help you to work together, because leadership is never a solo enterprise. It's all of us working together to achieve great aims.
Ah, brilliant, brilliant. Well, John, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, and I'm honored that you are here.
Well, thank you, Arthur. I've followed your career for quite some time, and it's an honor to be on the show. And I wish you and all our listeners and watchers and viewers to success. Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you.